So today I'm going to show you a couple of setups that you can do. Some of them are easy, one is a little bit more difficult in particular, but these are some great setups that you can do to finish that point and win more in pickleball. So let's get started with some cross-court dinking here. I'm going to show you a sort of a tactic or a strategy that you can use to get a setup a little bit easier. What a lot of people do is they dink cross-court like this, right? And they just do this over and over and over, right? And they keep going and they keep going and they keep going. And that's okay, you know, because cross-court dinking is fun. But why don't we paint that inside foot instead? So Linda, scoot over just a little bit so you're in the middle here. And instead we're a little bit further out. There you go. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep doing that cross-court dinking. But when I get the opportunity, I'm going to dink it to that little foot right there in the middle. And that right there is how you get the setup. I know it's fun. I know it's fun doing the dinking cross-court all the time, but that little foot right there on the inside is brutal, okay? It doesn't matter if that's her forehand. It doesn't matter. Okay? And what that does is it stretches your opponent out. It makes them go one way and then the other way. And eventually they're going to get off balance and you're going to have the opportunity to win. See that? Okay? And that causes the pop-up and therefore the put away. Okay, so I'm going to watch her positioning here. And I'm going to push her out wide and then go right up the middle. Wide, maybe wide again, right up the middle. And then boom. And it's seriously effective. And yeah, keep in mind, it's just her and I dinking, right? This is for demonstration purposes, but you get the point. So many people feel like they have to just keep going cross court, and I get that. Because when you dink up the middle, what happens if you pop it up? The forehands are in the middle probably, and that's a disaster. You have to have more confidence over your dinking. Come on, do this. It's so effective. Let me show it to you one more time here. So try to get them out wide and then up the middle. Wide, up the middle. Wide, up the middle. Eventually Linda's gonna, yeah, okay. Man, she lasted a while though. That was pretty good. Let's move on to the second setup now. The second setup here is a little bit more difficult, it's a bit more challenging, but it's a third shot. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a nice light top spin third. I've got top spin videos on my channel, go check them out, but let me just show you kind of generally what it looks like. So this is a third, and then we're going to do that, a nice top spin whip. Okay, and what that will do is it will probably cause a pop-up from your opponent, especially if it lands in the kitchen. Okay, like that did. Now, let me show it to you from another angle. Now, I may be out of frame here, but I just want you to notice the way this ball behaves when it's coming over the net. Okay, notice how that ball popped up. Okay, so what you do is, here you go. What you do is this. So, did you notice what happened there? I did a top spin third shot, right? And that caused a pop-up, then I came in to put it away. People call that shake and bake. Now, keep in mind, that is hard. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit out of breath. You know why? Because it took us a while to get the perfect shot to make that work. It's tough, but if you're partnered with someone that has really good topspin or you have really good topspin yourself, this is a great setup that you can use to give yourself a huge advantage. But again, warning, not easy. Okay, the next example here is a passing push dink. So what we're going to do is we're going to be dinking straight away here, back and forth. And then what I'm going to do is wait for the opportunity to hit a low push dink towards the corner of this kitchen here. Now, be careful about hitting it so close to the sideline here. It's good to give yourself a buffer, okay? But in general, that's the direction that we want to hit the ball in. So why don't you go ahead and use one of those. I'm going to wait to really get it exactly the way I want it with my forehand. And you really can't Do this if someone is dinking aggressively to you. It just doesn't work. But if you get a nice little dink to your forehand, then you can use that to push forward like that. It's very subtle, and it's better on a volley because the volley is a little bit higher and they can push forward here. You're trying to get it past your opponent, but also away at the same time. Watch. Brutal. Now Linda's doing a really good job at defending these, so I should probably put a little bit more on it like that. Again, really good on the volleys, and even better if you have a little bit of topspin, you can try to roll those over. Brutal. And so typically when you go to the side like this and you push it out and away like that, you want to try to go back to the middle if you can, similar to what we talked about in the first tip. Sometimes when you get it way out to your forehand side, you can use a little bit of that change of direction that we talked about in the last tip, like that. Like that. That is brutal stuff. So those are some setups that you can do in pickleball to give yourself that winning advantage. Keep in mind that third shot, topspin, is a brutal one. It's pretty hard to do, but if you've got that topspin, it can really help. So focus on those dinks, those push dinks, cross court, and then down the middle and so on. You'll get those setups and you'll win more points. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Head on over to pickleballkitchen.com. Bunch more stuff on there. Check out PK Academy. I'll see you soon.